Hi guys, my name's Hannah. I'm a junior in the dietetics program here at UND. I'm currently quarantined in my apartment in Grand Forks, so today I'm going to show you a new recipe to try. So we're going to do stuffed peppers today. These you can try out with a lot of different flavorings and seasonings. You can do Mediterranean, Italian, Mexican, but today we're going to do Southwestern. Hands before this, but that's the first thing you want to make sure you do. Obviously right now that's super important with everything going on to limit the spread of germs, so just make sure you wash them with soap and scrub for 20 seconds. Next here, we'll just go through the ingredients. So we have the peppers here, some seasonings and spices, ground turkey, and this is 93% lean. We have corn, black beans, some diced tomatoes, a shallot, some rice and quinoa, cheese, and then some cilantro. First, we're gonna get the rice going here. This is actually a rice and quinoa blend. Whatever you have at home, you could definitely use either one, or you could even substitute for cauliflower rice too. This can be made in the microwave or on the stove. Just for ease of things today, I'm just gonna do it in the microwave. So they come in little bags. Each of these bags has 1/2 cup of rice and quinoa, which is exactly what we need. And then there's 6 bags that come in here. So I'm gonna put this in a microwave safe bowl. Then you're gonna add 1 cup of water. And then this is gonna go in the microwave for 10 minutes. Brown rice and quinoa are both great sources of whole grains and fiber. Quinoa is gonna have a little bit more protein in it. It is one of the only couple plant proteins that have all essential amino acids in it. But again, you could use either the quinoa, brown rice, a blend of both, or substitute cauliflower rice for it. While that's going in the microwave, we're gonna do the peppers. So you can see here, I already got 4 of them ready to go. These ones are already washed, but I'm just gonna show you guys how I take the tops off to get those ready to go. There are a few different ways that you can cut the peppers. Some people like to cut them in half. I'm just gonna keep them whole today just because I think they fit in the pan a little bit better. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna start by just cutting with a paring knife around the stem here. And you're gonna take out the stem, and that's gonna take out all the seeds with it. So most of the stuff inside is already gonna be out. Sometimes there's some thicker membranes here, so I just like to grab those with my hands. And then I just shake out any extra seeds. So we're gonna do the same thing on this one. And you can use whatever color of peppers you prefer. You can see I have some orange, yellow, and red ones. Green ones are gonna be, they're picked before they're harvested earlier, so those ones are gonna be a little bit more bitter to taste, and the red ones are gonna be more sweet. The red ones will also have more vitamin A in them, but all of the different color peppers are all good sources of vitamin C. Okay, so now that we have all the peppers cut and ready to go, we're going to drizzle them with olive oil and salt and pepper, and then put them in the oven for 15 minutes. Another thing with the peppers, it's always nice if you can find ones that have a little bit flatter bottom, otherwise they tend to tip over. But when we're cooking them this time, we're gonna flip them upside down. And then I am using some olive oil spray. I think it just gets them coated more evenly and it's a little bit easier to do. So we're just gonna do that, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. So I forgot to mention, the oven is set to 375. I had done that before starting. Now we're gonna start heating up 1 tablespoon of olive oil on medium heat. You can use like a deep skillet. This is just what I have that I thought would work best. And then while that's heating up, we're gonna cut our shallot. Shallot is similar to an onion. It's a little more mild in taste. What you're gonna do to cut this is you're gonna cut off both ends and then take off the outer covering. And then I usually start by cutting it lengthwise. And then we're gonna dice it. So we're gonna make some small cuts here and then turn it 90 degrees and finish. Looks like we need to take off a little bit more of the peeling here. There we go. And then same thing with this one. Some small cuts this way. And then line them up. For this recipe, you could definitely substitute this for an onion too if that's what you had at home. I'd recommend using a yellow onion, but if you prefer the other ones, that would be okay too. So now that the olive oil is all heated up, we're going to add the shallot that we just diced. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. You could also use fresh garlic, and that would be three cloves would be equal to the 1 tablespoon. I just like to use the minced garlic just because it's easier to have on hand and a little bit quicker for the cooking process. I'm just gonna let these cook a little bit in here until they're softened. While those are on the stove, we're gonna get all the seasonings measured out into this little bowl here. So first, the cumin, we're gonna do 2 teaspoons. We're gonna do 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And then we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. A 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. And if you don't have all of these seasonings and spices at home, you could use a taco seasoning as well, and that would still turn out good. So now we're gonna add the ground turkey and the seasonings and the spices. Again, this is 93% lean. You could also use ground beef or ground chicken. Just usually I shoot for at least 90% lean. And the 90% is probably going to be a little bit cheaper than the 93, so you could also do the 90. So you can see it's about done here just by the color. Normally you would do it until the internal temperature was 165, but since we're going to be baking it for a while after, I usually just go until the meat is browned. Now we're gonna do the corn, the beans, and the tomatoes. For the corn and the beans, I like to use a strainer or a colander to rinse them out, and then that just helps get off some of the excess sodium. And then I also, you can see here, usually buy the low sodium brands. Just gonna rinse them out here. Beans are another good source of plant protein, so we'll have both the beans and the quinoa for plant protein in the peppers. Add the corn and the beans, and then the diced tomatoes. You can see there the peppers are done, so I will get those out of the oven. So I'm just gonna mix this and let this heat up for a little bit over the stove. Took the pan off of the stove. I took the rice and the quinoa out of the microwave, and we're gonna add that to the pan now. And stir that up. And then the last thing we have to add in here before we fill the peppers is cilantro. So we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of cilantro. You wanna cut the stems off first. The stems that are in between the leaves there are okay to eat, but usually you want to take off the ends of the stems there. And then what I like to do is try to bunch it up. And then when you hold your knife, you're going to want to hold it with your fingers wrapped and then this on the side like this. And when you do cilantro, it's almost going to be more of a slicing action. So you probably won't need that much. I'm just going to go through again until the pieces are fine. And measure out 1/4 cup. And then stir that into the mix. Last thing before I put them back in the oven is going to be filling the peppers. So use a tongs to flip them over. You can see here where it's a little bit easier if you have peppers that stand up nicely. And then we're just going to fill them. As you fill them, you might have to use your hand to stabilize a little bit here. And you'll probably end up having some leftover filling left, but that can be great again by itself, or just heat it up for leftovers. So now we're going to just put them back in the oven for 20 minutes. Now that they've been in there for 20 minutes, we're going to just add the cheese on. And if the recipe calls for a cup, I usually just kind of sprinkle it and eyeball it. And then after that, we're just going to put them back in for about 5 minutes or so, or just until the cheese melts. Final product here, you can see all the cheese is melted. You could also add some extra toppings such as avocado, salsa, some sour cream, or plain Greek yogurt, but overall a pretty healthy meal as it is. I like to add some like a side salad with it for dinner for some extra vegetables, but it does have protein, fiber, vegetables, whole grains, all in the peppers. As you can see, there's 6 peppers here, so this recipe made 6 servings. The cost for all of the ingredients, aside from the oils and some of the spices that you would likely already have on hand, the cost for all of the rest was $21.43. And when you take into consideration that you're only using a portion of the rice and the cheese, then the cost per serving is $3.06 for these. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the stuffed peppers if you try them out.